Okay, we are live. Better late than never.
Yes. Sorry for my technical issues. Good morning. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. How about you?
I'm great. On the road, in a hotel,
On the road, yeah.
consulting, kind of what I do.
Yeah, perfect. Well, that's a good lead in.
Yeah.
uh,
Somebody says, "How many miles a year do you travel?" I said, "I stopped counting."
yeah,
But this last month or so, I'm doing consulting where it's a lot of driving. So usually I'm flying. In the last 2 days, I drove to Maryland, Washington, D.C., New Hampshire, Boston, and then back to New York. So I've probably done over 1,000 miles in like 2 days.
yeah, that's nuts. That's
People's
nuts.
like, why don't you get on an
Oh.
airplane? I was like, you know what? It's just easier. I can get a lot of calls done. So anyway, so here we are.
Hey, the doors blow off those things. You know, I mean, damn.
You know what? I don't want to jinx myself, but I've flown almost 1,000,000 miles and a couple 100,000 this year, and I don't really have that many delays. I don't have all the fuss and muss that everybody talks about. People are relatively nice. I put my headphones on, I do my work, or I watch a movie. So I don't know, man. And also I prepare myself mentally, and I give myself plenty of time when I'm traveling. So I just don't. I don't engage.
Yeah. Yeah, you're in your own little world. Yeah, that's what I do too.
Yeah, you have to.
Yeah. Well, hotels aren't just buildings, they're beacons of hospitality. Who said that? Did you say that?
I don't know if I said that, but if I didn't say it, I'll take credit for it.
Take credit for it. um, you're out and about, you're in hotels all the time. You're always working with hotels. It's got to be a trend that you see. Um, I mean, how would you describe the prevailing problem facing hotel operations these days?
I'll give you an example. I think it's a perfect example because it happened 7 minutes ago, right before I got on. And I'm working with a company, and they have rock star people. And so I'm just talking to the general manager, and on a Zoom call, and they had there's a big rainstorm and snowstorm here in New England, and it's a hotel that's close to the airport. And of course, what happens is you never know what's gonna, how many people are gonna need to come in. So anyway, she has to pull our entire staff in, and they had to do a few more rooms than typical each. And instead of just putting it on the sheet and saying, "Hey, please get these done as fast as you can," what she did was like, "Hey, this is what we're doing. I'm on a call this morning, but I'm going to be up there with the supervisors with you. I'm going to be taking some rooms, and at X time, we're going. I can't remember what she said. We're going to order whatever you want for lunch. So give us your orders. I'm going to order for you, and we're all going to sit like a team, and we're going to order the lunch, and we're going to eat together, and then we're going to get back to work. Thank you so much. We can't do this without you. Truly appreciate everything you guys always do for me." And whether you're at Cornell or Harvard, or you're at the greatest company in the world, or you have 17 PhDs, there's nothing else in that situation you could have done better. And this is the problem. The problem is where once you get to a certain level in this industry, you forget how difficult running hotels are. So sometimes mediocrity sets in. That person's a true leader. That person probably will be pushed off the room and off the floor, and say, "No, go. We got it, boss. We got it, boss." Instead of talking about it, she is about it. So that to me is the problem. You saw it during COVID, where people really rolled up their sleeves. They had to. They had no choice. So I'm not saying a lot of people don't do it. I'm just saying simply is we're in this together. And whether you own a hotel or whether you're the housekeeper, the guest doesn't get that experience and doesn't get that service and doesn't get that feeling unless you're all in together. I always say an owner could live in Hawaii, but if when he gets up in the morning or she gets up in the morning, her foot hits the ground and she has a smile on her face, I bet you the housekeeper has a smile on her face because that means there's positive energy, it's attitude, and it's focus. And so, to me, we sometimes make our own problems.
Are you saying seasoned hoteliers, people that have been around the block, find their way into administrative leadership roles, and they're in an office somewhere, and they're losing touch of, like you said, feet on the ground, high touch with the guests.
Well, there's a couple things happen, and that's always happened, right? You've had great leaders that were always in it, and then you had great leaders that were hidden behind the door. Today, what's happening is, I'm not saying all, I'm not saying there's some amazing hoteliers out there, and I have tremendous faith in our industry that we're going to land in a great place. But we're going through a transition where we're talking about different generations, and we're saying that the younger generation, people coming in today, they don't want to work as hard. They want more flexibility. And the answer is yes, they do. They want balance and they want flexibility, like we all do. And back when I came up, I wish I had balance and flexibility. I didn't. But today, if you don't understand that they win, we have to give different people, whether it's the younger generation or it's my generation, it doesn't, or I should say our generation. You look a lot younger than me, but you're getting close. And the answer is we're all in this together, and do not roll your eyes in front of me if you're going to say, oh, these kids today, they want flexibility. Don't do that. There are people that don't show up. There are people that come in for interviews and leave the next day. There are people that don't write you nice letters after they do the interview with you. They're all shapes and sizes. People do great things, they do bad things. You have to maintain the practice. You have to maintain the standard. I've said this before. I wrote about it in my book, Show Up. I was born a 5-star baby. We were all born 5-star babies. Even if you were born with special needs, you're a 5-star baby. And then we allow our circumstances around us to make us 3-star. We allow, this person didn't come in. So then we go back to hide in our office. Don't let what's around you turn you into a 2-star baby or a 3-star baby. You have to keep your own standards. You have to keep your own focus. And yes, I'm seeing more general managers at front desk than I've ever seen because people are calling out sick. I'm seeing staffs that used to have 10 people at the front desk have 3 or 4. So the problems are real. But when you get into the blame game, and when you get into these challenges are overwhelming, and not get into solution-driven, technology-driven, roll up your sleeves-driven solutions, you just create your own stresses and your own problems. They're there. Running hotels today is the most difficult time in our history. And I'll say more difficult than when we were going through COVID, because then you knew what you had to do. You had 3 rooms today. The general manager had to run the rooms with the sales team or whoever. And so, yeah, it was challenging physically. But now costs are going up through the roof. Taxes are going up through the roof. Salaries are going up 20, 30, 40% in markets. Yes, rates are going up. But this year, you're not going to see rates driven the way they've been driven with in the last 2 years with the revenge travel that we've had. So you're going to have all these costs going up with average rate not going up potentially, and maybe occupancy not going up because we've pretty maxed out in a lot of areas with occupancy. So you have to be an accountant, a lawyer, a judge, a mother, a father. You have to really understand the business, but you also have to understand people. And I've been in this business long enough to see there's very few people that truly understand the financials and also understand the people aspect. The young lady I was talking about, she understands both. She's probably one of the most dynamic general managers I've ever met in my life. And because she understands their standards, and we're going to meet those standards. You're not getting in my way of my standard. Okay. So yeah. Okay. I love you. I care about you. I'm going to buy you lunch, but that bed's going to be made right. And this hotel is going to run right. And I can love you, but hold you to a standard.
Earlier, you mentioned mediocrity. How can these folks avoid the mediocrity trap?
It's your fault. It's always your fault. And remember, it's your fault. You choose your attitude. You choose your energy. And the mediocrity starts with, woe is me. We've all had it. I've been there. I sometimes laugh because I'm cursing myself out in the car driving because I'm like, what are you worried about? What are you doing? Like, don't be that guy. Like, I have to jump in the gym and just like kill myself. So that thing in the gym that, gets me exhausted, nothing else that day is going to kind of get me exhausted because I've already did a hard thing in the gym. And so to me, it's mediocrity seeps in. And it's like, if you think of it this way, right? If you have a yard and right before it's summer and we all get our yards ready and everything's pristine, there's this one weed that we haven't ripped out yet or we haven't killed yet, and we let it grow. Guess what's going to happen? The time August, if you live in the East Coast, time August turns around, that's going to look like a tree, right? Because even though you took care of everything else, you look good, you feel good, but there's nuances, those little things that you ignore. That's when you let mediocrity set in. And only you know when that's happening. When people aren't looking, you're not getting up as early. You're on TikTok for 4 hours at night. And I'm guilty of that sometimes. I was supposed to do, X. When reports are due and when budgets are due and when PLs are due and when the room's got to be clean, those are easy things to motivate ourselves to do because people are watching us. People are looking at us. People are expecting us to perform. It's when you're trying to be better than your competition. It's when you're trying to level up. Those are the opportunities and those are the moments when no one's looking. That's when you're doing the hard work. That's when you're reading that report 3 times. That's when maybe whatever you're doing, it just could be as simple as eating breakfast. I have meetings all day and I have like 20 minutes to grab some breakfast. And I know if I don't, the rest of my day's done. Like I have to eat something today. So my point being is mediocrity is about management. And you have to manage. Listen, there's some people that like mediocrity. And I'm all for mediocrity if that's your thing. If mediocrity is getting you through the day and it's paying your bills and you're happy with mediocrity, great. Just don't be a leader.
Well, yeah, you know what Nick Saban says about it's been said before, but high performers can't stand mediocrity and mediocrity can't stand high performers. So
I will tell
building
you,
the team, good luck.
My favorite Billy Martin quote. Billy Martin was I'm sure you know who he was, Hall of Famer, New York Yankee. He had all kinds of issues with his teams over the years and with George Steinbrenner. But somebody asked him, he said something, how are you managing your team? It was one of those moments where he was in a lot of trouble. And he said, I have one job. I'm keeping 50% of the people that hate me away from 50% of the people that love me. And anytime I've taken over a hotel, it's those high performers. I have nothing to worry about with them. Just don't bother them. It's the people that have mediocrity. They don't understand me. They don't understand the high performers. So your job as a leader is to try to teach them that language of excellence. But if they can't perform at that level, as I say, it's okay to promote them to customer. They can come in and visit, but they just can't stay. They can't work there. Okay. Yeah. And you're doing them a favor. No one it's me and my daughter ran a 5K in Central Park this weekend. She said, Dad, I haven't run since the marathon 23 years ago that I ran. And she goes, Dad, I'll stay with you. I said, no, do not stay with me because it'll be painful for me to try to stay up with you. And it'll be painful for you to try to stay up with me or to try to stay back with me. Just go. So 30 minutes after she does the 5K in 30 minutes and she calls me up and I grab my phone and she says, Dad, where are you? I go, I don't know. And I'm so exhausted. I hung up the phone and literally my wife and everybody's making fun of me for the last couple of days. And it took me a long time to run the 5K. I wasn't ready for it. Right. And my point being is she did me no favors by trying to allow me to stay up with her standard. I can't. And until I'm ready, and I guarantee you next race I will, but until I'm ready, so don't do that. Give them their room, give them their respect, and try to get them to the next level. But if you can't, you're doing them a favor because people around you who are excellent will judge you. They will judge you for allowing mediocrity to seep into our team. And eventually, there's resentment. Now, sometimes you don't see it, so your team will take care of it for you. That person gets popped out of the team before you even realize what's going on because the team is just like, what is that? That doesn't, like, Anthony must have been like on vacation that day, because how did that person get on the team? So yeah, exactly. Mediocrity does not like high standards, and high standards don't like mediocrity.
Yeah. Yesterday, you were telling me you don't believe you can motivate people, but talk to us about some of the practical methods that you use to solve the challenges you just outlined.
If you're taking over a hotel or a business or a company, there's the number one thing that you have to bring into the business is pride. Why are we doing what we're doing? Why are we exceptional? Why is our product exceptional? Why is our hotel exceptional? Why are you exceptional? Why are you here? Why, if you're a bellwether at the Algonquin Hotel, you've been there 35 years, you've been there, yeah, maybe it's good pay, but also because you're proud of that hotel. So our job is to give us the why. Why are we all here? And then start, whether it be uniforms, whether it be the break room, get that break room looking good. Whether it be stand-ups and how you talk to people, whether it be getting that manager who's been there for 5 years that everybody hates, maybe promoting them to customer, whatever you need to do to bring pride back in that building. And then once you get pride back in that building, you start working towards goals, and not unrealistic goals, but goals that we know that we can achieve. And then you make them harder, and then you make them harder than that, and then you make them harder than that. When you put together a team with pride and you're giving people what they need and sometimes what they want, and you're also saying no sometimes, it's like, no, we can't do that. This is the why. Why is the reason you can get people motivated. You can't get people motivated if they don't understand the vision, if they don't understand where we're going. But once you give them all that, once you give them this work environment, once you give them that sense of pride in the establishment, and once you give them coworkers that they respect and appreciate and can learn from and challenge and sometimes argue with, then you got something. Now people are motivated. I didn't motivate them. I just gave them an environment which allows them to have fun and allows them to work towards their dreams. So I'm a big believer. Yeah, I can temporarily motivate somebody, maybe, but if you're not giving them an environment, you can't get a person that doesn't want to get up at 7 o'clock in the morning to go clean 14 rooms, to clean 14 rooms, if they're not motivated to do it for whatever reasons. You cannot get a food and beverage director to work, to 2 o'clock in the morning until that bride is walking out or that groom is walking out with a smile on their face. They have to want to do that. I said it recently. It's like, I hate when people say the reason I'm in the hotel business is because I like people. I'm like, I don't want you in the hotel business because you like people. This is a hard job. And some people are not very pleasant. And so I don't like everybody, but I like making people happy. I like making everybody happy. That's, if you look at my my DNA reports that they do, these different trimetrics or the predictive index. My weakness is that I would put myself before I put other people, and it's really my teams and my family. It's like, yeah, because I don't care about the carrot. I care about that we all get to the carrot. The carrot's there just to get to. I don't care about the carrot.
Yeah. So it's learning how to hold people accountable. It sounds like understanding who has. I liken hospitality workers, exceptional hospitality workers, whether it's hotels or restaurants or Starbucks. It's they just have a servant attitude about themselves, and they like serving people. They like pleasing people. It seems like a whole lot of that.
Servant leadership. Jerry Anzarello, who's a legend in our business, says it all the time. And people don't like that term, servant leadership. I'm a servant. Okay. I don't know if I'm a leader. My people will tell me if I'm a leader. I always say, if I turn around, nobody follow me, I'm not a leader. So I'm a servant manager, right? I am here. And also let's talk about the practical reasons of being a service leader. Let's talk about the practical reasons of giving everybody they need, because you're stripping away excuses. You're taking away. I can look people in the eye and go, what do you got? Yep, done. Got that for you. Yep, got that for you. Got that for you. Got that for you. Cleaned your car, gave you a tune up, drove you to work, kissed your baby, changed your baby. I did everything for you. What's going on? Take all the excuses out. I never want people to make me the problem or make the linens the problem or my team the problem. It's like clean the landscape for everyone. And then we go. Right? The greatest teams, whether it be sports teams or business teams, are like-minded people that challenge each other for a common goal. When I say like-minded people, somebody can be very quiet and somebody can be all about note-taking. Somebody could be all about getting people excited, but they're like-minded in the sense of we want to win. We want to win. I'm hyper, hyper, hyper competitive, not for the carrot. Because if my team or we're going to go and we're going to compete in a segment, whether I'm in New York or whatever, where I am in the country running a hotel, and this hotel is in my competition, and we have identified that we're like hotels, that we're similar, so we should be driving better rate, better service, better occupancy. Pray for that person, that general manager. Because if I'm in the market with my team, pray for that person, because that person is going to start scratching their head, because we are going to understand the dirt, the flavor of the dirt that the hotel is built on. And that is how you get people. I get emotional about it. That's how you get people to get pride. I'll give you a really good example. We had this hotel. We turned it around. The owners, we hadn't turned it around yet, but the owners put a lot of money into it. And, everybody knows I'm a little bit intense. So they were kind of tired with my intensity. And so now that we had this new building, we brought in great people. I had to back off. So about a weekend, I grabbed all my managers and we went downstairs into the lobby. And I saw things I didn't like, but I didn't say anything. I said, I'm going to pull out the banquette. I'm going to pull out the table. And if I see things on the floor behind the banquette, behind the table, and behind the chairs, I'm getting back involved in the operation. If that is pristine, the way it was a week ago when we put the new carpet and everything down and everything was spotless, I'm out. And you guys get a vacation from me, okay? And I won't be micromanaging, and I won't be around. I got on my hands and knees. I pulled everything out. I had 2 handfuls of peanuts, of wrappers, of notes, of like crinkled up notes. And I just literally put it on the table gently and I walked away. I didn't get mad. I didn't get upset. I was just like, this is what we're providing. After the owners gave us millions of dollars, after we went out and got great talent, after we did everything that everybody asked us to do, we're still doing the same thing. I didn't have to say another word after that. The hotel was perfect as far as cleanliness. Never had to say another word. But I had everybody from sales, from revenue management, from housekeeping, from rooms division, food and beverage, everybody, because this wasn't a behind the banquet problem. This wasn't a food and beverage problem. This wasn't a housekeeping problem. This was a mindset problem.
Well, we're not there yet, but we're close. Gain is rolling out a service pack with you on solving these problems. So why don't you just touch on that a little bit, your vision for that, and they'll stay tuned. We'll have it out in the next week or so.
Well, my vision is this, that I've been very fortunate in my career to get calls for $300 million projects. And I've been very fortunate to get calls like, you wouldn't take this hotel, would you? It's 23 hotels. The answer is yes to both. We are able to bring in a team that can run a $300 million hotel, that can run 7 restaurants, that can run revenue management. We can do whatever we need to do. I can go and help you with a 23-room hotel. I'll get on a plane. I'll go help you. I'll bring in maybe 1 or 2 people, but you get me. No matter where we are, we get me. People say to me all the time, Anthony, years ago, why don't you open up a management company and you manage 50 hotels or 100 hotels? Because I don't want to be in the position or in the business. Eric Long said this to me once. of managing or getting on planes and managing people that are managing things. It's fine. I can do it. But what I like doing is I like bringing an owner and a housekeeper together. I like bringing the team together. I like getting my hands dirty. I don't like shuffling papers from one side of my desk to another. Nothing wrong with it. I've done it plenty of times in my career. So we are able to come in and identify quickly. I will challenge anyone I can go into, I would say, almost any hotel, and I can identify problems within 24 hours that hopefully you'll agree with me that these are the issues. And you'll be like, well, Anthony, I know those are the issues. Okay, but then I can give you the solutions in another 24 hours. So we don't take weeks and weeks and months and days and spend all your money. I can honestly tell you the problem in an hour, but I'll be nice and say it'll take me 24, but and sometimes 7 minutes. There was a hotel that I asked an owner to buy in 7 minutes of looking at the hotel, and he transferred money into the account for the real estate, and the deal didn't work out, unfortunately. But at the end, like in 7 minutes, I knew that was the hotel to buy. 7 minutes, no P&L needed, no nothing. I just needed to know the market. I needed to see the hotel. I needed to see the boiler. I needed to see the roof. I needed to see the size of the rooms, and I knew the market. 7 minutes, and there was a check in the real estate account. The owner trusted me, and it was the great. After the other people that bought it doubled their money in 12 months.
Because those are the hard things to change. I mean, you can put people in. You can find the right people and train them right.
It's identifying, like, after you do something for $10,000, they say you're an expert. I've been doing this 38 years. I'm not saying I'm the best. I'm saying I'm an expert. And privately, maybe I'll tell you I'm the best. I don't know. It depends on how my ego is that day. But I'm not the best at most things. But I can identify problems of a hotel. And the most importantly, I can tell you the things that aren't a problem that you think are a problem. Those are the things that waste our times. Why are we dealing with this? Because that's a problem. Yeah, it's a problem, but it's not a problem that's going to solve your P&L. It's not a problem that's going to solve your pride in your team. I'm not worried about, the steps in the back that need to be fixed that nobody uses. I'm not worried about that. Okay, why are we spending capital and time? Why are we fixing the cafeteria that our employees are in every day and it's dark and it's stank and it's terrible? Why are we fixing that? Well, it's not a problem. I remember I took over a hotel, and I won't tell you the gory details, but I'm sitting there with somebody I was trying to impress. It was a colleague of mine that worked in the market and who actually taught me food and beverage. And I bring him in and I say, hey, don't judge me. We're just here to have a drink and tell you my woes. Order the chicken tenders. They can't screw that up. We didn't change the chef yet. The menu's the same. Just order the chicken tenders. So we're eating, and I open up a chicken tender, and there's blood and there's veins in the chicken tender. And so this young lady that ran one of the restaurants comes over to me. She sees fire coming out of my eyes, and she pushes me back because she sees what happened with the chicken tenders. She goes, I got it. I go, no, I got it. She goes, no. And she was probably, if she was 90 pounds soaking wet, she was alive. She pushed me with Arnold Schwarzenegger's strength away from the kitchen door, goes in there, comes out, and said, boss, you're not going to like this answer, but this is the answer. The chef said that those chicken tenders were supposed to go to the employees' cafeteria.
Oh, gosh. Oh, boy.
I didn't say anything. The next day, I asked the chef to come to my office, and I said, do you want to resign or do you want me to let you go? Your choice. And he goes, I want to resign. So he resigned. Months later, maybe a year later, he comes into the hotel. He's working for a vendor for hotels. And he hugged me. And he said, thank you for taking my pain. He goes, I wasn't cut out to run that kitchen. And he hugged me.
Yeah.
And I wasn't mad at him. I didn't yell at him. I didn't get angry. I probably would have if he didn't push me out of the kitchen. And so my point is we're feeding our employees low-grade chicken nuggets, chicken tenders. Don't give them anything. So what are we saying? How are you going to induce pride? Are you out of your mind? Have you lost if that wasn't the most important thing on my list that day, the next day when I came into work, no one's going to pay attention to me.
Yeah.
So it's that easy. You want to look at cash flows? You want me to do cash flows with you? I can do that. You want me to look at profit and loss statements? I was an asset manager. I can do that. You want me to look at investment opportunities for you? Absolutely. You want me to tell you what a good cap rate is in a hotel in that market? Absolutely. You want me to look at a RevPAR report, a STAR report? You want me to look at a capital 5-year plan for you? I can do that. You want me to help you design a hotel? You want me to help you get a developer to develop the hotel? You want me to tell you where to put the restaurant? You want me to tell you where to put the executive offices? I can do it all. But at the end of the day, make sure your employees aren't eating veiny chicken nuggets.
Yeah. Oh, gosh. Yeah. Yeah. Well, we're looking forward to rolling that out with you any day now. So, folks, stay tuned. Anthony, I appreciate you spending time with me. It's been a pleasure.
I appreciate you.
And yeah, you bet. You bet. And we'll talk soon.
Thank you.
All right. Take care.